welcome into Texans Today, everybody. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs, and on today's show, we've got some great news around the Houston Texans, some really good injury news, and an extension that I got to break down on today's show. So all around, a very positive episode here on Texans Today. Thank you all for joining me. While I have you, I have one thing that I want to tell you, and it's a great deal for all you folks at home. You want to win some money? You want some free money right now? Well, go down and win yourself some cash. All you got to do, you got to be the first person to correctly predict the score of Texans versus Colts this weekend. No editing allowed on your post. I'll be looking down in the comment section, and you got to get it in before the game starts. But if you get the correct score in the comment section of this video, and then you tag me or DM me on Twitter, I'm going to go ahead and Venmo you $10. 10 free buckaroos. Yes, you heard it right. Even in this economy, you can get some free money here on Texans Today. So go down in the comment section and get your score prediction in. Everybody only gets one. I don't want to see everybody 10 different score predictions. You get one. But if you get it right and you put it in before game time, you get $10 to your name. Now let's talk about Davis Mills, because he got a little bit more than $10. He got $5 million in his brand new deal, a one-year extension for the Texans backup quarterback. And this is great news because he was on the last year of his deal, was set to be a free agent this offseason, and the Texans, they get a little bit more of long neck Mills for another season as the backup quarterback for your Houston Texans. And this is great news on multiple fronts for this team. First off, we've seen it in the past. If you're a contending team, if you think that you are an amazing team in the NFL, you got to have, extra insurance, extra security at the quarterback position. We saw it the year that the Eagles won the Super Bowl. They won it with Nick Foles, a backup quarterback. And I'm not saying, the Texans are going to win a Super Bowl with Davis Mills if anything happens to C.J. Stroud, because your chances go down drastically. But say C.J. Stroud is hurt, for a game or two. Say C.J. Stroud needs, some time off if he's injured. You feel a little bit better having this guy as your backup quarterback and saying, hey, Davis Mills, you could go in for maybe 2-3 games. And I feel a lot better with Davis Mills than I would feel with most backups in the NFL. Here are his career stats: almost 63% completion percentage over 34 games, little under 6,000 yards, 35 touchdowns to 25 interceptions, and a QB rating of 83. Not too bad for Davis Mills. I'm not saying, this guy's going to be an amazing starter in this league, but you look at Davis Mills and you're like, this guy can be a good option for this Texans team if you drastically need. And we've talked about it all off season. If you have Davis Mills as your backup quarterback, then the trade rumors are still there. And if a team is desperate, if they are needy at the quarterback position, you can say, hey, we have Davis Mills, possibly a second, third round pick if a team is desperate, is in absolute need at the quarterback position. You have a really good one on your roster. Quarterbacks are at a premium in this league, and you have two good ones on your team. This is great news for the Houston Texans, extending Davis Mills one more season. You have the security behind C.J. Stroud. You have somebody who knows the offense, who's learned under the Bobby Slowik system for now going to be 2 years under his belt. I really love the move by Nick Caserio and D'Amico Ryans, just giving a little extension to one Davis Mills. Now, coming up, the latest Texans injury news. We have some good injury news on tap for you today. Some guys who are slated to play this week and make an impact up against the Indianapolis Colts. But first, I couldn't do today's show if it wasn't for our amazing sponsor in Game Time. Go check them out today for your last-second ticket needs. Texans football, it's back, baby. Make sure you never miss an opportunity to watch this team in person with our sponsor, Game Time. With Game Time, you can expect last-minute deals. Save up to 60% off buying last-minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy shows, and more. And I promise you, with the all-in pricing and all the other features that you can see your seat view, lowest price guaranteed. All these features is what makes Game Time the best app out there for your ticketing needs. And I want to tell you about something right here. It is one of their newest features, and it is the Game Time picks. Game Time, they've got rid of all the fluff. They've gotten rid of all the stuff that you don't need with your ticketing apps, and they are giving you the best deals on the market right now. That makes it easier for you to find tickets to your favorite teams that play live every single week. Game Time picks filters out the fluff to show you incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets on the app. They basically tell you the best deals on the market for you. They have super deals, amazing deals, and it kind of tells you you're in the top 1%, top 10% of deals, $10 off what the normal price would be. Game Time Picks has you covered. Just basically think about it of there's all the tickets out there, right? And you're just like, hey, just show me the best deals. I want to see the best bargain, the best bang for my buck, and that is exactly what Game Time Picks offers you. The new Game Time Picks feature, it is a lifesaver. So go check them out today. Make sure to head over to Game Time and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Again, download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. What time is it? It's game time. Now, some really good news on tap for you today. Will Anderson, back at practice, looked good today, was moving around with all the fellas, and he looks good to go, ready for week 1 up against the Indianapolis Colts. And this is fantastic news if you're a Houston Texans fan, because having Anderson ready to go week 1, this defense, I think it's already going to be a pretty good defense in the NFL, but you're already missing a guy in Christian Harris, your starting inside linebacker. You don't want to miss your starting edge rusher in Will Anderson Jr., especially because the depth behind him is so-so. You have Danielle Hunter on the other side, who's an absolute beast, but behind him, you got Jerry Hughes or Derek Barnett, two guys who you're not upset about, but you're not jumping for joy if those two guys are starting for this team. And I think with Will Anderson back, I think him or Danielle Hunter, absolute lock to get a sack this year. Or not this year, obviously, in this first game up against the Indianapolis Colts. They have a good offensive line, but Anthony Richardson, he has a little bit of a happy feet. I think he's going to be trying to make something outside the pocket, and that's when Danielle Hunter, that's when Will Anderson are going to be able to attack and absolutely feast on this young guy. If you agree with me, if you think the Texans are going to get a sack on Sunday, type me down in the comments section. If you think the Texans, Will Anderson or Danielle Hunter, are going to get a sack this Sunday, I think it's a foregone conclusion that they're going to get at least one this weekend. Go down and type me. I better see thousands of me's down in the comment section. Some more great injury news on tap for you today. Laremy Tunsil looked good, was practicing. They've been taking it easy with the all-pro left tackle. I really think, they want to make sure he's good. He had that, scope surgery on his knee, non-invasive this past offseason. So they've been working him back. They've been really, letting him go at his own speed, which is really good for a guy like Laremy Tunsil, a bigger guy who, put a lot of miles on him, and he's still young, but you want to make sure your left tackle of the future is good to go for years to come, and managing, his time before the start of the season and making sure his workload is as little as possible. This is stuff that DeMeco Ryans, a former player in this league, he kind of has a leg up because he's like, you know what, I know a guy like this. He's already ready to go. We don't need to give him a ton of action in the preseason training camp. He'll be good to go week 1. We want to make sure he's as healthy as possible. Same thing can be said about your right tackle in Tytus Howard. He was also at practice today. Last year, he signed a huge, a massive extension before the start of the season. Only played 7 games in the regular season, though. Tytus Howard looking for a bounce-back year. Hopefully he can stay healthy, and this whole Texans offensive line can stay intact because they need to keep C.J. Stroud upright. We know we have the question marks on the interior with the 2 young guys, Juice Scruggs and Kenyon Green. But if your tackles can stay healthy, Laremy Tunsil and Tytus Howard, that'll be a great sign to come for this Texans team. Lastly, we also have some news around the linebacking room. I've been asking for weeks, what are the Texans going to do now that Christian Harris is on short-term IR? Looks like looked like he wasn't going to be ready to go for the start of the season. It's now confirmed, won't be back until week 5. And I think we have our answer. Aaron Wilson reported Jake Hansen should get the start at linebacker for this team. Was with the team last year, was a special teamer. Another guy like Neville Hewitt, where I feel like he is, one of the guys that the coaching staff really relies on, one of the veterans in this locker room where maybe he hasn't gotten a ton of time starting, but he's been in this league for many years, where Jake Hansen, you feel like he has a high floor and a low ceiling, I would say. You know what you're going to get out of Jake Hansen. He could be a good linebacker. He's not going to be an all-pro, Pro Bowl level linebacker. At least I don't think. Maybe another Blake Cashman this year where he surprises everybody and balls out for the Texans this season. But I think at least for right now, Jake Hansen, a decent option for this Texans team at linebacker to make sure they're at least good to go until week 5 whenever Christian Harris returns from his injury. That's all I have on tap for you today. As always, make sure you go down and hit that sub button. Free Texans videos all year long. All you got to do, you got to go down and hit that sub button or go to youtube.com/Texans TV for the best Texans coverage on YouTube. And if you want up-to-date Texans news and rumors on social media, you can follow me at Jeremy Chuggs on Twitter, the dankest memes on the internet. As always, you can find me there on Twitter and on TikTok. The kids love my TikTok. They love my TikTok. So go check it out over there on TikTok as well, at Jeremy Chuggs, and I'll see y'all later on.